Just like obtaining any professional license, becoming a mortgage loan originator requires meeting specific requirements for successful licensure. If you're eager to start your journey to obtaining your MLO license in New York but are feeling uncertain about where to start, this video is for you. Let's dive into those essential steps you need to take to achieve your goal. Start your journey to becoming an MLO by requesting an NMLS account through the nationwide mortgage licensing system and registry, also referred to as the NMLS. Once you've registered with the NMLS, you'll receive an individual NMLS ID number to carry with you throughout your career as an MLO. This unique ID serves as your identifier for your New York license, as well as any licenses you pursue in other states. Next up, complete the required 20 hours of NMLS-approved pre-licensing education coursework. The New York Department of Financial Services mandates that the following specific topics be covered: 3 hours of federal law, 3 hours of ethics, 2 hours of non-traditional mortgage lending, 9 hours of electives, and 3 hours of New York state-specific education. To complete this education, jump on over to mymortgagetrainer.com to explore our course options. It's crucial to note that the 3 hours of New York-specific education cannot be older than the 3 years from the date of application. This means that you must have completed the New York 3-hour course within the preceding 3 years before applying for your license. We also want you to be aware that if you have already completed the SAFE 20 course to license in a different state, you will only need to complete the 3 hours of New York-specific education. Once you've wrapped up your federal hours of pre-licensing education and the additional 3 hours of New York-specific education, it's time to start studying for the SAFE National MLO exam. You must pass the SAFE MLO exam with a score of 75% or higher. This comprehensive exam assesses your understanding of core concepts in mortgage lending. The SAFE exam spans 190 minutes, costs $110, and consists of 120 questions in total. Schedule your SAFE exam through your NMLS account once you feel adequately prepared. If you don't pass the exam on the first attempt, there's a 30-day waiting period for a retest. If you're unsuccessful after 3 attempts, you'll need to wait an additional 6 months before being able to try again. Next, you must complete an FBI criminal background check and get fingerprinted. The background check can be initiated through your NMLS portal. You can also make your appointment to have your fingerprints taken through the NMLS portal. The current cost of both the background check and fingerprinting is $36.25. Additionally, you will need to complete the credit report authorization process through the NMLS. Through your NMLS portal, you will authorize the NMLSR to obtain and make available to the New York Department of Financial Services an independent credit report. Please note that you will be responsible for the cost of this credit report and that the current cost is $15. Once you've passed your test, done your background check and credit report check authorization, you're ready to submit your New York MLO license application. To submit the application, head to your NMLS portal to complete your individual form, MU4, and pay your fees. New York MLO applicants will pay the following fees: a $379 New York application fee and a $30 NMLS processing fee. While completing your MU4, you will be asked several disclosure questions. For any disclosure question that you answer yes to, you will be required to provide an additional explanation. An explanation is intended to provide regulators with additional information necessary for the proper evaluation of a license application. Finally, the last step is to obtain company sponsorship. After finding and being hired by an employer, that's either a mortgage broker or mortgage lender, you can initiate the sponsorship process. A sponsorship request must be submitted by your employer. New York banking law requires all applicants for an MLO license to be affiliated through an employment or independent contractor relationship with a New York regulated entity. Applicants can submit an application for licensing prior to establishing an affiliation with a New York regulated entity. The department will process applications without sponsorship. However, as part of the processing of the application, the department will notify each applicant of the requirement to be sponsored by a New York regulated entity. The applicant will be required to become affiliated with a New York regulated entity within 30 days of the date of such notification. The applicant must also update the MU4 application form with the date of employment and the name and address of the sponsoring entity and the specific work location within 30 days. The sponsoring entity is required to process a sponsorship request through the NMLS within 30 days of the date of the notification. Please note that New York has some more stringent state requirements that must be met as well. These requirements must be met outside of the NMLS and are submitted directly to the New York Department of Financial Services. An applicant's NMLS ID number must be included on every document submitted to the department. Items must be received by the department within 5 business days of the submission of your individual MU4 form application through the NMLS. First, each applicant must submit fingerprints for a state criminal background check. Applicants that fail to complete the New York State jurisdiction-specific criminal background check process have not completed the application process. The New York DFS uses IdentoGo for live scan fingerprinting services. Please see the DFS's website for more information. Additionally, every individual submitting fingerprints for the processing using live scan or fingerprint cards must review and acknowledge receipt of the FBI Privacy Act Statement, the non-criminal justice applicant's privacy rights, as well as the application, notification, and acknowledgement of the New York's DFS Privacy Act Statement. The completed applicant notification and acknowledgement, New York DFS Privacy Act Statement, must be signed, dated, and submitted to the department. Please note that the form must be submitted within 10 days of filing the application through the NMLS. We will link to this form in the video's description box. Furthermore, each applicant must submit proof of identification to the New York DFS. Photocopies of identification must be in black and white on standard 8.5 by 11 inch white paper. All information and the photograph must be legible. The following types of unexpired photo ID are acceptable: a state-issued driver's license, a photo ID card issued by a federal, state, or local government agency, a U.S. passport or passport card, and a certificate of naturalization. Additionally, within 5 days of the submission of the MU4, applicants provide an original signed affirmation form certifying that the application does not contain any untrue statement or omission of material facts, and that the applicant will immediately notify the superintendent of any changes to the information furnished in the application. We will also provide a link to this in the description box. We need to point out that an application is not deemed to be complete until all required information, documents, and fees have been received. If an application is determined to be incomplete, you will receive written notification identifying the items and matters that must be addressed for the department to continue the application review process. Applicants will then have 30 days to submit missing documents before the application is considered withdrawn. Applicants who have applications withdrawn must repay applicable fees and resubmit all documentation to the department to restart the process. After the application has been processed, the applicant's NMLS record will be updated to reflect the approval or denial of the application. If the application is approved, the NMLS status will be updated to approved conditional. All licensed MLOs must be covered by a surety bond in accordance with the requirements of Section 420.15 of the Superintendent's Regulations. If the department does not receive proof of surety bond coverage within 10 days of licensing, the license status will be changed to approved inactive. Applicants submit their surety bond coverage by submitting the surety bond certification form and an original raised seal surety bond furnished by a surety company authorized to conduct business in New York. If the application is denied, the MLO will receive written notification of denial, and the NMLS status will be updated to denied. A notification of denial will also be mailed to the sponsoring entity. Once proof of surety bond is received and verified, your license status will change to approved active, and congrats, you are now a licensed MLO in New York. Now that we understand all the licensure requirements, let's discuss how to kickstart the process. My Mortgage Trainer is your go-to resource for a New York MLO pre-licensing education. We provide both the comprehensive SAFE 20 course and the 3-hour New York State-specific course, along with complimentary test prep materials to support your success. Whether you're battling test anxiety or simply venturing into new territory, you don't have to navigate this path alone. Our dedicated team is here to support you every step of the way, ensuring that your journey towards becoming a licensed MLO in New York is not only successful, but it's truly remarkable. Ready to dive in? Explore our education options by clicking the link below, or give us a call at 317-566-0425 to connect with one of our knowledgeable team members. Don't forget to show us some love by liking our page and dropping a comment. As a proud veteran-owned business, we're committed to serving you.